What's going on, everybody out there, and welcome back to another episode of the Dark Avenger comic book review. Before we get into this episode, I have a lot to talk about really quickly. This is going to be probably the longest of the next series. Yes, we're about to marathon of reviews. This is episode 555. I'll probably reintroduce it again when we get past this. However, last episode was 554. I made a mistake. I said it was 553 again. That was episode 554. Anyway, that video was recorded a while ago. You're going to notice for the next while, our clothes aren't going to change because we're about to go into a comic review marathon. I know I said before, if our consistency breaks badly, that was going to be the end of the reviews. However, in this case, unforeseen circumstances that were beyond our power were the reason why we could not record our reviews for the past couple of months. Some big stuff happened, we weren't expecting it, and we just did not have the time or ability to record our reviews. However, we kept up with our reading. So because of that, it null and voids what I said about if we, don't do it again, because that would be if it was in our power. This was not in our power. So what does that mean? For the next week, we are going to be doing a marathon of comic reviews. We have all the books lined up from the past, now 10 weeks left. This and last episode are 12, so 12 reviews altogether. One that's done the traditional way. The next 11 reviews are going to be done streamlined. And when I say streamlined, I mean they're going to be playing out kind of like haul videos. We'll show off the book we've read, maybe talk about key points that have happened in the book, whether it ended, if it's a first issue, what we thought about it, like if we liked it or not, and then we're going to move immediately on to the next. These videos should be no more than about 3 to 5 minutes long to kind of make up for the fact that there's going to be 2 a day for the next week. So it's about 10 minutes a day. If you're watching this in the future and you happen to be coming back, once we get to the end of April, which is where we're at now, we're on the last Monday of April. When we get to the last Wednesday of April, we probably will do the same thing one more time, and then when we get into May, the reviews will be back to a semi-normal state. We're going to be streamlining the reviews a lot anyway. Why? Because we want to be able to start working on other projects. I know I've been mentioning this for a while, that we wanted to get back into other projects, other streams, other things. And unfortunately, for those of you that don't know, we read a lot of books. So with getting the books, at the end of the week, reading them, doing the review, edits, it takes up a huge chunk of at least my time, because I'm doing the editing and and we're both doing the recording and reading, so that's our time. We want to be able to streamline these a bit more so we're able to work on other projects, because we keep promising all of you other projects and we haven't been able to do anything except a review. So we want to kind of go off and do our other things as well. One thing Michael and I have noticed is, as fun as it was being media, I think at this point in time, we enjoy entertaining all of you. We enjoy making content for everybody. So it was fun. And you'll notice the channel has changed back to Dark Avenger C86. My main channel name, the name I went by for many, many years. We're going to stick to that. And I might do a video talking about stuff in the summer, like at the start of the summer when we get there. So look forward to maybe an update video. But you're going to start noticing things a little differently on the channel. Of course, maybe I'll do a podcast or something explaining it. I don't know yet, but I'll have something somewhere explaining what's going to be going on. But at this point in time, it was fun. We enjoyed being media, but we want to be more than that. And to be more than that, we have to go beyond just doing news and stuff. So we want to be able to focus on other things and give all of you that. That's one of the things we loved about YouTube, was it was a way of us sharing our lives with everybody. And because this takes such a long time to do, we still want to do this because I love talking about my books. I love talking about what I've read. But we want to do it in a smaller capacity so this way we can do other stuff, if that makes sense. I don't want to keep repeating myself, so we're going to leave it at that. I'll have a video, like I said, explaining everything. Now, this is going to be going on. We have today, and then we have 10 more episodes, so we're going to be going until sometime close to the weekend. After the reviews, Michael's top 5 comic covers. We did the first week of February. The second, third, and fourth week of February are going to be coming out. Second and third, one day. Fourth and the month top 5, the second day. And then after that, we're going to do one video that encompasses the entire month of March.
Well, I kept up with the covers.
Yeah, Mike kept recording for the top fives. He had the time to do it because when I was busy with something, he was able to get his recordings done. So we'll have the March one go up after that. It'll be a whole video with all 4 weeks plus the month, the number one of the month. And then when we get to the end of April, as I said, we'll have our last week of April's books, and then Michael's top 5. The full month of April will come out a whole video of all 5 weeks, because we have 5 Wednesdays this month, all 5 weeks, plus the top 5 and his top number 1 favorite of the month for April. And then when we get back into May, the reviews will be back to once a week, streamlined. The top 5 will be back to once a week, and you're going to be seeing other stuff, like I said. But I just want all of you to kind of understand and know what's going on, because this is going to be going on for the next couple of weeks at least. So with that being said, once again, this is episode 555 for the week of February 11th, the second week of February 2026. We're going to do Independence, Marvel, and then conclude with DC Comics. Transformers issue 29. I really enjoyed this issue. The fight between Megatron and Optimus Prime finishes here, and it ends on a very interesting cliffhanger, which we'll talk about when I get to the next Transformers book. Space Ghost issue number 8. I've been loving Space Ghost. If you haven't been checking Space Ghost out, it's one of my it is the only Dynamite book I am second. I have Supernatural. It is one of 2 books I'm reading from Dynamite. Dynamite does excellent work with Space Ghost. TMNT issue number 15. I love TMNT. Splinter's back. Splinter now gets visions of who's going to kill his sons, and he's on this vengeance. Whenever somebody new comes up, he has to kill them, so before they kill his sons. And there's a huge cliffhanger in the end of this issue that leads to the next issue, which I'll talk about in a future episode soon. But a close friend of the Turtles is the next person that's going to kill them, possibly. Excellent book, though. Love the artwork. Marvel.
Yes, The Amazing Spider-Man Torn, issue number 5, the last issue. And we get the reason why it's actually saying Torn. It's because Spider-Man, he saves the world, and Evelyn, who is behind all this, she sacrifices herself so that way Peter stays alive, or Spider-Man stays alive for his life and everything. Mary Jane goes away, and then in the end he goes out with Harry Osborn and Gwen when they were at the scene where they were talking, and it's Peter Parker just being by himself because of everything that's been going on with him, and I felt really bad for him at the end of this issue. The Torn series was really amazing, and that one was my book of the week, actually, that one. Spider-Man Noir issue number 5. So we find out that the person who was the Spider-Man imposter that took away Peter Parker's Spider-Man was Gwen's father, which Gwen actually shot. So her father was actually still alive, and then we get a whole thing where he gets his powers back to fight off against the Nazis, and then he stops being Spider-Man after that because of everything that's been happening after Gwen, and then he talks with Aunt May and Mary Jane about being Spider-Man and not like that, and then it just ends off with him just being Peter Parker and not so much as being Spider-Man. That's also the other end of the issue as well.
Venom, issue 254, the grand finale of Madame Mask versus Venom and Mary Jane. Love the conclusion. It is now going towards Spiral, and I believe Mary Jane actually mentions in this issue, it's either this issue or the next one, where she she decides to go out on a date with Flash Thompson. They do become a thing. I'll mention that now because I know it's mentioned later on in Amazing Spider-Man. They're not boyfriend, girlfriend, but they're dating. They're seeing each other like that. First issue time. Moon Knight issue. Marc Spector, Moon Knight, issue number 1. Excellent issue. It takes up right where the last Moon Knight left off, where Mark got kidnapped. We find out that he's being drugged. He is being drugged to be afraid, so this way, Moon Knight can't come out. But he gets saved by a very surprise ally, who's not really an ally. But we'll talk about that when we get to Moon Knight issue number 2. But this really surprise ally is the one that actually snaps Moon Knight out of it by the end of this issue. Really cool. Wade Wilson Deadpool issue number 1. It's Deadpool. If you like Deadpool, you're going to want to grab this book. There was a really shocking scene that involved a cow in this book, but it looks like Hammerhead is going to... Not Hammer... I think it's Hammerhead.
You said Hamhead.
I think it was Hammerhead. Anyway, we're going to have a main issue between Deadpool and this character, at least for the next couple of issues. And there's also he's still having nightmares about losing his daughter, which was from, I'm guessing, the previous arc, which I did not read. So, anyway, DC Comics time. Action Comics issue number 1095. Pete Ross knows that Clark Kent is Superboy now. And this is an issue. This issue is all about him coming to terms with that and keeping Clark's secret. I liked it. I thought it was really, really good.
So it's kind of like a Smallville-esque thing. Pete Ross.
Yes. Adventures of Superman, Book of L, issue number 3. Superman looking for his 2 adopted kids. This issue, he fights for one, and it kind of ends on a really scary cliffhanger that we'll talk about when we get to the next Adventures of Superman. This is definitely taking place out of continuity, because with DCKO going on, we've got other stuff that's going to be happening in the Superman books soon. Green Lantern issue number 13, the conclusion to the arc that we talked about in previous episodes. One person ends up becoming an Indigo Lantern in this book. I'm not going to spoil whom. I thought this was a really strong issue. I love Green Lantern Corps. If you haven't been keeping up with it, don't worry about this issue. Green Lantern Corps has a jumping on point. Stay tuned to future episodes throughout the week, and you'll see when that is. And then speaking of DCKO issue number 4 of 5, the big twist at the end looks like Lex Luthor is going to become the Alpha King. I don't want to spoil it, because in future episodes this week I'm going to talk about the finale of DCKO, but let's just say it looks like Lex Luthor is going to win by the end of this issue. Stay tuned to find out what happens in future DCKO issues. With that, that's it for episode 555. Tomorrow, look forward to 556 and 557 as we marathon through all of our books for the past couple of months.
Yep.
Till then, take care, everyone, and we'll see you all really soon in the next video.
Hey, everyone.